Howdy, folks. Cmdr.Trusin here with Captain Barbosa for another Astro-Nots podcast. It's Halloween.
It is indeed. And here we are.
Here we are.
Recording a podcast.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about No Man's Sky, in particular, the Cursed.
Yeah, I finished the expedition. How about you?
I did too. Let's cue the music.
Yeah, let's go. Hype it up.
Astro-Nots, a space-bound team, navigating galaxies from our PC screens, exploring new worlds and cosmic sights. Join our crew and enjoy the flight.
Oh man, I think I ate too much chocolate.
Dude, I kind of did too. I'm a sucker for Kit Kats.
Oh god, I gave out candy, but I think I shouldn't do that anymore.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah. All right. We'll get on topic. Yeah.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been playing that since the beginning, and it's that tale of redemption, right?
Yeah, and I also believe No Man's Sky is one of those like space classics that we're gonna talk about. 20 years from now. That's one of those games.
I'm gonna tell my grandkids about it.
Yeah, I was there. No Man's Sky didn't have a good release, but
we didn't
now
think
you're playing.
We didn't think it was gonna make it.
No, well, look at you. You're flying around on capital ships now. Look at the technology still around.
Right? Yeah. Oh man,
they did a great job. This redemption arc was amazing. They have an amazing game. They have amazing technology. That's seamless. It's not really seamless. I could always see when I'm landing on a planet and then going into space, but you know what? It doesn't have to load. I love that. The exploration, the planet generation, the solar system generation. I mean, like, this is a phenomenal space game. They nailed it with exactly what it's supposed to be, and I'm probably going to be playing it years from now.
Yeah, I always have that problem where, like, I'll play it for a while, and then I'll leave, and then when I come back, I feel lost, so I start another character.
Yeah, I know that feeling, because it's almost like it gets too much. There's so much in the game, and you don't realize what you were doing, because after you're done doing like an expedition, and for those of you that don't know, an expedition in No Man's Sky is kind of like a community event. They tell people to show up for a certain allotted amount of time, and you got to finish all your quests and all your missions within that allotted time for the special rewards. And that's kind of fun. That's when I come back to play, and it's very easy to get caught up with like getting all your gear and all your unlocks and stuff, but you just got to finish it.
I do kind of wish though that like you always have to start a new character, and that annoys me a little bit because I have like all these saves, and I get why they do it, but it's one of those things, and it annoys me.
Well, I think the beginning of the game is actually like that's what makes it, because like once you get too far, and you're Mr. Automation, I'm sure you have like a farm or something somewhere that just makes you a ton of money, but like I feel like the beginning of the game is the charm of the game. So when they start you over, you got to get your minerals and all that stuff, start over again, and then you kind of get into it. You have to use the items that they give you that are in the mission objectives, and you're on. But I see what you're saying, and if you want to play the game, I mean, at a point, you can be so amazing at No Man's Sky, and your character is so loaded that like nothing challenges you, though. That's what I think is going on there.
Right, and I always come back for the expeditions. It pulls me in.
Truth be told, I was one of the non-believers. Like I was waiting for that multiplayer, and then when somebody online found somebody else on the same planet and they didn't see each other, it was a big bummer. And so I didn't pick up the game. Our friend Chainsaw was like, "Man, this game you would love." And this is years later. You would love this game, Barbosa. And I picked it up for an expedition, and it was for the not No Man's Sky. It was for the Normandy in Mass Effect. I'm like, oh my god, the Normandy's in the game. I'm gonna have to play. And I started the game with no knowledge, and I just had to go do an expedition, and it took me forever, but I did get the Normandy. I was dedicated, and my wife at the time probably was very agitated with how much I was playing, just to try to get that Normandy.
Well, you should probably consider yourself lucky that you missed some of the worst time of No Man's Sky. Like I was there on day one, and it was rough. It was real rough, but they came around, and their expedition for right now is kind of a Halloween theme.
Yeah, the Cursed.
The
Yeah, I'll tell you,
cursed.
it was funny when I started playing a long time ago. I met a sentry. I had no idea what was going on in the game. It was just like my planet, and I didn't know it was just looking at me. I'm like, "What are you looking at?" I shot it with the mining gun, and it just killed me. And I'm like, "Why am I playing this game?" And it took me years to come back.
You know, the storyline in the game is pretty. I don't. It's hard
I
to
love it.
articulate, but it's vague, right? Like
I
you
love it.
kind of have to figure it out or pick up, the little pieces that they're throwing down. So, what did you think the cursed was about?
Man, you put me on the spot on the cursed. They kept talking about like this temporal thing, and I guess the little entities. They say they can't be seen by the Crimson Eye, and they're like telling you to join them and stuff. But like joining them means like let them kill you. It's very strange.
Did you
Um,
notice that when you go through the portals, you start over every
yeah,
time you went through a portal, and it was saying something about another dimension?
I did, and I was so confused a couple times. It's like reinitializing. You're on a different place, and it's tough because yeah, they can just call it another dimension, and this game has this the 16, and
Oh, did you notice the number in this one when it was 15?
I thought it was 16.
Well, and I know because that threw me for a loop because it's supposed to be 16, and in
Ah,
one of those alternate dimensions, they displayed the numbers and it was like 15, 15, 15, 15. And I was like, oh my god, we're in a different universe, like we're in a completely different, yeah.
I wish like, I was just trying to slam through and get that ship that got by me, and I got to remember to appreciate the story because they do give you just small figments of the story.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to be on most of the expeditions I try to fly through too, but I do pick up on some of that because I like to understand what's going on, and that game makes it very challenging. And I think there's like whole philosophical YouTube channels around about like, what does the game mean?
Oh man,
What's the story mean?
I would love to take a stab at it, but that's probably way beyond the scope of just this expedition review that we're doing, I guess.
Oh yeah, I don't know that I would do very well in a philosophical discussion about No Man's Sky's
Oh, I would nail
inner
it.
deep meaning. I'd
I'd
love to hear about it though.
I'd love to sit in front of Sean and be like, "Is this what you guys are going for?" Because I think I'm picking up what you guys are putting down. And honestly, like it's about space exploration, but there is a very massive spiritual, existential theme behind everything. It doesn't matter how big the universe that you're in is. It's just about you. And uh, probably some other time, maybe. Subscribe, please, if you like this content. Maybe we'll do that in the future. Subscribe, like, push us through the algorithm. Give us some credibility that we're like space guys and we're your astronauts and we love talking about space games.
So in this particular expedition, I really like the end reward.
Oh my gosh, the ship is beautiful.
Oh, it's great. It reminds me of the Millennium Falcon almost.
Yeah, dude, and it comes with stuff. I think there was two other expeditions that started you with a ship, and this is, I mean, I didn't play those expeditions, but having that ship in your like, I guess your Quicksilver inventory or your special inventory. So if you start a new game, you can start with a dope ship, and it's got all this great stuff already bolted onto it. But it is pretty.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's something to be said about the exploration in this game because it's not just about exploring planets; it's also about exploring ships. Because every time you go to different systems, there's different ships, and
Yeah.
finding the perfect ship for you is a feat in and of itself.
I got to admit, and maybe some other No Man's Sky fans will be with me on this, but they have those exotic ships, and I just really never liked the exotics. Like I know they look weird and it's like very unique, but I'm like, I'll keep my A class here. Like I'm good with this one. This one looks cool.
Yeah, and the bio ships really, I didn't like those very much. But there was one exotic ship. It was more like sleek alien type that I did appreciate that one. But the biological ones where it's like organics interacting with, I did like. I was like,
It's weird.
ew, I don't want to crawl in there.
You get in your body.
Yeah,
But it's cool. They got such great ideas.
yeah.
And
I mean, the base building is like really good. I'm hoping Star Citizen's base building takes some notes.
yeah, they did a good job. They have all the different materials, all the different angles. I love that you could just camera out. And from what I understand, obviously the beginning of the game wasn't like this, but you can have the floating camera, which is way easier to place objects, so you don't have to like jump around and make scaffolding. Granted, you have a jetpack, but the building is really good in this game.
Yeah. And I mean, even automation. I remember the day I told you about the automation. You're like, you can what? You could put mines down, refineries. Like what?
And then I went and did that, and I'm like, oh, now the game is that much easier.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing I do is like set up uranium mines for fuel or copper mines. Yeah. And then I have like a list of planets, and I'll name my bases like after the resource that I get there, so I know where I just portal hop around to all the bases and pick up the.
This
materials.
is Urania.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, but man, let's get back into this curse thing, right? So they gave you the mask of like this Cthulhu-looking squiddy alien head. And it had red eyes too, and a weird sideways mouth. It gave you some trails and stuff like that, but I just wonder what this 15 thing means now for the rest of the franchise, because it gave us a little inkling.
It was just, I mean, we were in an alternate dimension, and I don't know, like I mean, it's called the curse, but I felt like it was trying to represent me like losing my mind.
Yeah, you're right, because like if you notice when you scan those like little entities that always are floating around you and harassing you, they're not enemies. Like they don't show up like scannable. They're just for you, and they're always where you are.
Well, yeah, and you can't see them. Like if I noticed other players was like firing into the air, and I'm like, I bet they're being attacked by their inner demons. Like
join us.
And I don't know if you caught on to this, but because the mechanic here is they basically replaced the like outside temperature shield bar with like a sanity bar.
Hazard suit.
And the lower it got, the more those things popped up and started coming after you, and eventually they could even hurt you.
They started dive bombing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but as it would get lower, the planets would move faster, like night and day cycle increased.
Oh, dude, you're right.
And I'm like, how do they do that with other people on the planet? Is it just for me? Like, how does that work? Like,
I was wondering, because when I noticed that when I did the portal, and I had no sanity, so I wind up on the other end having to reinitialize with 0 sanity, and the stars were spinning around the planet, and I thought it was just part of like, the initialize. It's just trying to get me. But you are so right. Like time would speed up when that was. Oh man, it's like I want to go back and see it now.
Yeah, I mean, they do such a good job. And it seems like each expedition gets more intriguing or better and better in regards. Like I remember the first expeditions were just like climb this mountain, open 30 chests. All right, good. Like, and now it's all like, oh, you're fighting your inner demons and going through alternate dimensions. And yeah,
I'm kind of sad I missed the one with the Brood Queen. The Helldivers was kicking so much butt with their gameplay, and it's almost like we had like the Starship Troopers extermination game out. Like everybody was down to kill bugs, so Sean was like, "All right, we're doing bugs, guys.
Right?
Let's get these bugs going."
I'm pretty sure Star Citizen came up with their space worm because No Man's Sky had it.
Yeah,
but that's good.
All mimicking each other. It's flattery.
Yeah, I like those. I mean, and it all these things. So now I'm curious because like when they added those worms, that worm expedition, it enhanced the galaxy because now there are worm planets all throughout the galaxy. Kind of makes me wonder how is this cursed going to play into the future of the game? Because the expedition goes down, but that curse mechanic probably still sticks around, and there may be cursed planets now or something that. You're fighting that sanity again. So
you're right, because the dissonance, like the little robots, that's always around too. Now you have dissonant planets, Dude, it must be amazing to have this technology where like nobody can discover everything. So you just put your new parts of the game at like systems that people have never showed up at. Like it's genius. It really is.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that they fixed the problems from the beginning, and they keep adding stuff, and they haven't even charged me anything since the original price of the game.
Yeah. I honestly I got it on sale around like $25. Probably the best $25 I ever spent.
I don't know how they pay the bills,
Yeah, I don't either.
but
Yeah,
they got new games coming out soon, and I'm quite excited about it.
yeah, Light No Fire.
Oh yeah.
They what I keep seeing is they keep taking technology from like this Light No Fire game, and they're like, well, we made Great Water, so let's put that Great Water back into No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky is turning into like a beta for Light No Fire. That's what I feel like is going on.
Yeah. What animal are you going to be?
I don't know. I didn't know I could pick an animal. I honestly didn't. I just wanted to be surprised on. Like I didn't
Oh, you
read
didn't
too much
you
into
didn't
it.
watch the trailer? I mean, the trailer,
I did.
every single
I
character in the trailer is like some kind of like animal, like the raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, I mean, I feel terrible because I just saw like little people and the dragons and stuff, and I wasn't even paying attention to faces because like No Man's Sky doesn't have faces. And I
Right.
figured that's what they were doing, so I feel terrible
You
for
know,
not paying
I
attention.
think that like the human body is so hard to get right in video games. They were probably pretty smart to make it aliens. And so Light No Fire is like animals are easier because, it's hard to judge. Oh, that animal doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, like when you do people's faces and stuff, that can be challenging to get right. So I think they did it smart by going that route.
I also think there's very interesting lore regarding that too. So,
Yeah, there's some discussion going on as to does Light No Fire take place in the No Man's Sky universe?
oh,
Does
that's a
that
good one.
does that planet exist somewhere in No Man's Sky?
That would be. I mean, there is no problem crossing that lore because, for instance, if they never wanted you to invade that in No Man's Sky, it's just somewhere or in a different dimension or some unreachable dimension or iteration,
Right.
and it's fine. They could just say that, but uh, it doesn't matter. And I also that it's like Light No Fire. To me, that's like the dawn of mankind, like the dawn of our ingenuity was when we were able to first light a fire. And that was kind of like the evolutionary progression. Do you think that's probably what the theme is of that game? Now that you mentioned that it's all animals,
Well, it's strange that it says Light No Fire. Like,
Hmm.
wouldn't you want them to light the fire?
I don't know, but we are talking about No Man's
Yeah,
Sky.
I know. I'm pretty sure the world is going to be filled with vague. Yeah. And there were a lot of ruins. I think I saw ruins in the game. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like there's a history there too. And, maybe this planet takes place in the No Man's Sky universe far into the future. And we're going to see like the ruins of, the races that came before, like during No Man's Sky.
Damn, I want to get into my No Man's Sky theory because, but like, let's circle back a little bit because we can keep being skeptical about Light No Fire. We probably have to do another podcast about that. In No Man's Sky, I think I know what you're going to say. What do you think is missing from the game?
Well, it's that multiplayer co-op aspect. Like if they'd let us fly capital ships together, and have a couple of turrets and some other things to do, I think it would fit our dynamic very well if they could throw that in there.
Yeah, dude, I always thought like Sean, like give us frigate missions, but we're on the frigate, like us. We are the frigate.
Oh yeah,
We've
we could.
got like a
That's one
yeah,
way to do it, where you don't even use the capital ship, but you use like the frigates that you get in your fleet, and you can like take them
exactly.
and go on the missions yourself with a crew of people. That would be cool because they could do that too. Because you know how when you send those frigates out on missions, they just disappear and go. What if that was like
Exactly.
instant content for groups of players?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like what I didn't like is like you can't fly your capital ship, and I understand for good reason. The thing is massive. Really, what are you gonna fly? But the frigate is a little bit more like manageable. And if you didn't like fly it, like maybe let a pilot go from point A to point B. You know, like
They
just
could do
point
the
where
they
you
could
gotta
do the
wanna go.
flying, and I think the whole reason why it's hard to fly the capital ship is because it's a base in and of itself that you customize, and
Yes.
that makes it a lot more complex. With frigates, you can have just like you have your regular ships. You know, you can do the procedural generated frigates with different interiors, but and have a good diverse
And
group there.
you know what else is there, True? And you'll like this. How many times you send a frigate out, it was on the wrong mission, and it comes back hurt. You have to repair it. You can actually, they have repair nodes on those frigates. So, like, if it goes into combat and you're on it, you got a reason to, like, repair things on the frigate. And maybe there's, like, people that board you and or aliens that board the thing. That's, I think that's the biggest problem is, like, having sentinels that want to board the frigate that you're on or something.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, I always sent my frigates with the appropriate security force, so I don't remember any of mine ever coming back damaged.
When I was broke, I would send it like, "All right, good luck, guys. Please come back," and they would come back injured, or some guy had like a negative trait. But yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I do remember, like, you could like actually go land on your frigates. Did you ever do that?
Yeah. You gotta do that to repair them. That's how I know.
Oh, see, I accidentally figured it out one day, and I was like, why would you need to land on here? I didn't even know.
But I think it's just a missed opportunity. And plus, like, the multiplayer offering of this game, and I agree with you, and I'm going to second it. The co-op is there, and it's also not. Because it's one of those games that it's a single-player game that your friends can join you
It's single player with friends.
Yes, and that's we tried playing Once Human, and I think that's what Once Human suffers from is it's a single player game, and your friends can kind of show up, and you're at like different points in the game and whatever because your bases are all unique. Same thing in No Man's Sky, but maybe there's like an offering or like an expedition that is multiplayer. You have to be in a team to progress. And it doesn't have to be big, just get some 4 randos or do some matchmaking or something, and then just go do something.
Well,
you're gonna have to make your base.
They already have good infrastructure for that with the
They do.
the sphere thing. Like, that's a great. I mean, that's where you can
The
currently
Nexus.
the Nexus. You can currently meet up with people and go do group missions. They do have that. There's like. I think the difficulty scales too, but there's like depots that you can assault as a group and things like that. So
It's just so random too. Like, they want you to do a lot. They want you to have something to do, but when it's so random and it feels like insignificant, it's kind of like, oh well, I'll just wait for another mission to come by. Like,
well, here's the missing part, and I guess they didn't miss it. They probably hit the nail on the head. It's a sandbox, right? So you make your own fun, but they do the expeditions to guide people through fun.
yeah.
Right, but what you like to your point though, they should do some multiplayer expeditions. That would be a good change up.
They could make it short, just like one, like experimentally, like this is a frigate expedition. You're gonna go on the frigate's gonna warp out. You're gonna wind up somewhere. I hope everybody's got their ships because if the frigate gets attacked, we're gonna have to go out and defend the frigate, then come back in, then get to the planet that we're supposed to go to, do your away mission down there, come back to the frigate. I don't know. There's a lot of potential. And I don't know if Sean and the whole team wants to keep it like a quote unquote lonely game, but there's so much potential for it not to be a lonely game.
Part of the lore though is like you alone in this massive multi-universe.
Yeah.
As insignificant, right?
You are the anomaly.
Right. So it's hard to say. I mean, they have a great game, right? They have a great game.
Yep.
But it's missing stuff that we like. But I don't want to detract from the fact that it is a great game. If you haven't played it, you should go play it.
Of course.
And but cool. Well, I think we should wrap up here.
I think so too. I think we're good, man. Nice little romp through No Man's Sky, talking to everybody about it.
Yeah, I'm glad we both got to do the Cursed Expedition because, gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, and notice we both did it at single player intervals.
Yeah, we should have done it together. Why you talking about you want a multiplayer, but we didn't even do it together.
I don't know if it gives you credit, but Anyway, I'm ready to go. Guys, if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. We love vessel co-op games. I'm trying to make that genre, so I'll keep saying it. Vessel co-op, survival craft, open world survival craft, anything kind of along those lines. Like we're playing Abiotic Factor. I always say it wrong. Which is kind of like a campaign table survival craft. We like this stuff. So if you like it, please follow us. And we're going to give you more content like this.
I'm from Texas, so I can say abiotic.
I get scolded by our scientist friend. We'll have on to.
We're Astro-Nots, a spacebound team, navigating galaxies from our PC screens, exploring new worlds and cosmic sights. Join our crew and enjoy the flight.